Hello everyone, thank you once again for tuning in to another installment of the Rad Movement on YouTube. It is I, Robbie Rapole, as always. And today I'm gonna hit on a really hot trending topic right now in the tattoo world, Tattoogate. And for those of you that don't know, Tattoogate is the story of it started with one person, and then a couple other people started coming out about how this one artist just has really poor poor business practices. And so, quick short story about it. I mean, you can Google Tattoogate and find all of it. But this woman, she's in Canada. She found this artist's work and was like, "I want this artist's work on me." So the artist starts by charging her $180 for a consult. I think that's weird, but okay. Then the artist says during consult, "All right, well now you have to pay me either $1,500, $3,500, or $6,000 to design this tattoo for you," and it's called the collaborative design process. Russ Abbott introduced this to the tattoo world, right? And he's since made an apology and offered to pay this woman the money that she hasn't gotten back. Because he introduced this, and people are taking the knowledge and information that he's been teaching them and using it improperly. Because it's a good process. If you have the money and you want to see your art put together before the tattoo, great, it works for you. So she spent $1,500 for the design process, $180 for the consultation, and then $1,000 deposit for the tattoo to get a really poorly drawn sketch that didn't really have any love or heart or effort put into it. It's pretty obvious. So then the artist started blame shifting and being an asshole and saying, it's your fault, your poor communication, this and that. I think it's bullshit. Unless this lady's lying to us, that person just has poor business practices. Then later comes out, more people are saying poor business practices from this person telling their story. And so this person's just a shitty person and doesn't do well with her business practices in the tattoo world. So I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to touch on it today in my Let's Talk About Feelings podcast on Reinventing the Tattoo, where you can watch that at reinventingthetattoo.com. We talked about this in pretty deep depth from a couple different artists' perspective, and I liked the fact that we had a couple of us on there to talk about it because, we all work differently, but we all work the way we work. It works well and our clients leave happy and they send, referrals back to us and they come back to us personally and get more tattoos. So I feel like what's going on here with the Tattoogate stuff is really a blessing in disguise, right? Because now we've got a number of people, talking about this and getting educated on it. Like a lot of tattooers are coming out with, I do free consultations. You're never going to have a design fee with me. For me, I do free consultations. I typically don't even need a consultation most of the time, but if you would like one, I'm here for it. And that's free, and I love doing consultations. They're fun. I get to know you. We get to talk. I get a few ideas. I get to plant some ideas in your head, and before you know it, the idea comes day of. And day of, when you show up for your full day appointment with me, which is $2,500, you pay $1,000 deposit up front, and you pay the rest of the money when we do the tattoo. So that full day appointment, at the beginning of it, we come up with the art together. And that's our collaborative design process, and that's how you're paying me for my time. Rather than me doing homework, which I don't do well, I can't take your idea home with me and create a jaw-dropping design and we're all gonna love it. It just doesn't work for me that way. I've tried to do that before and it just doesn't work. But when you come in day of, we sit down, we talk about, we Google a couple ideas, and a lot of times people change their ideas because in our consultation before this, I'll let you know, hey, you don't have to have your idea hashed out because it'll come to us when the time is right. And when you get here is when the time is right usually. So we figure out the exact image that we want to go with, the exact idea that we want to run with. Because sometimes I'll take an image of, AI artwork or a statue or other artwork that we see online and use that as our like preliminary bones to create something that I'm gonna make look the way I make things look. So, you know, or I'll just Sharpie something on you right there with markers. So, you know, I can't do a Sharpie drawing beforehand. And if we haven't really sat there and gone through it, I can't really figure out what you want. So a lot of the time I'll come up with this concept and I'll be like, hey, what about this? Or, you know, do you like the eyes this way, the hands this way? Do you want this motion? Do you feel this? And so, you know, I give the client the ability to work with me, working with them, and create the tattoo they definitely want to live with forever. And I actually recently, before all this Tattoogate stuff came out, had a client tell me, dude, I love the way that you like took my input to heart into creating this the design and the elements of the design. So I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was already doing this collaborative design process, right? And I don't charge extra for it. But I do charge what some believe to be a hefty fee for my day rate, because I'm gonna create the art for you exactly how it's gonna be. And then I'm gonna get a lot of tattooing done because I'm fast, I'm efficient. So I can afford to draw with you or create with you before the tattoo, and then tattoo that day. Then also, if you're a killer and you wanna sit till midnight, man, I'll fucking sit with you till midnight on this tattoo if there's that much tattoo to do. And if I'm excited and ready to keep going further, and if we're jiving right. I had a client recently, she had a back piece that was started great, and then it just kept getting worse as the artist sessions went on. So we went through and like reworked 75% of her back in that one session because she had so much there, and I was able to work off of it, and I was able to build things, and I did a cover up, and like it was really friggin' awesome, right? So it's really awesome that I have people that are willing to sit and go far with this. And then some of my clients, they'll tap before 8 p.m. because they got enough work and they're ready to pay for more later. But they would rather not tough it out pain-wise, and they'd rather pay the money later to sit longer. Great, I'm okay with that. But like, I'm very open with the process with my client, because there's some people that are ready to get the whole thing banged out, and I'm a tank. I'll fucking get your work done. But if you don't want to, or you just don't feel like you need to sit that hard, cool, we don't need to do that either. But you're just gonna pay me the rate that we agreed on beforehand. And I'm gonna treat you with dignity, respect, and love, and honesty. And if I don't really dig what you're talking about, and if I can't find inspiration, we don't work together. You know, I have no problem saying, hey, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to give you a brilliant tattoo. Money is just what you have to pay me for my time. So if, you know, I'm not gonna make you give me this money if you hate this idea. And I've always had this 100% money back guarantee. If you don't love what I come up with, you don't pay me. Nobody's ever had to cash in on it, because I always make sure that you love what I'm doing before we do it. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of drop in a little bit about how I feel about this. I feel bad for this woman, but the beautiful thing about the internet is she made a stink, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So she went ahead and made her video, went fucking viral. The whole tattoo world's talking about it. And now Russ Abbott, who was the one who was teaching this collaborative design process, he actually made a couple of videos explaining every version of what he can see, and then offering to give her the money that this artist took from her. Then another artist, Matt Vaught, is flying this woman out to California to get the tattoo from him that she originally wanted, and he's doing the tattoo for free. Her flight is handled. So like, you know, I love the fact that it's clearing up certain ignorance that certain people have. It makes me feel even better about my day rate, because some people can't afford it, and I understand that, or they choose not to. If you have a Coach bag and you say I'm too expensive, you're probably just putting value in different places than I do. But like, really, at the end of the day, like, it makes me feel comfortable with knowing that I am giving the quality and value that I feel comfortable with giving. And I know my clients are getting the utmost love, respect, and quality and value for the money they put in the chair, because I know it's expensive. But I've also made some really high dollar purchases that I'm very happy with, because I understood what the mission was beforehand. I understood the assignment. So I really believe that this is helping the tattoo world open up as a real, true art form that people are paying multi-thousands of dollars for. Like with me, you're paying roughly around $10,000 for a sleeve or more, and that's natural and normal over a number of sessions. Unless you do a blackout, which I can get that done in a one full day session if you can handle it. But even blackouts, I want to go back in again and black them a little more a lot of the time. Or we do fucking, imagery over that with white overlays or color overlays or darker blacks and more blacks. So like, you can make anything evolve into a really brilliant piece of art. And at the end of the day, money is just money. It's just a part of the game. A Rolls Royce is a car that's very expensive, and people buy them because that's where they value putting their money into. So when it comes to your art, make sure you do your research for your artist. And make sure when you communicate with your artist, it feels good. Because if it feels gross, you don't have to do it. I never, ever hold people hostage. I never force people into anything. But if you come in and you pay the deposit and you waste my time and you're just a jerk and we can't figure it out, I'm going to keep the deposit money. If you dick me around on appointment times, I'm going to keep the deposit money. No matter what, you pay me a deposit for my time that I'm blocking out of my calendar. And then I give you my all that day. And if that's not okay with you, you don't have to sign up for working with me. I'm very transparent of how I work in the beginning, and I feel like all artists should be. So if you're not being transparent with your clients, stop, adjust, start being more transparent, start giving them what they deserve, and that's truth and honesty and transparency. And then, make sure you love your artist's work, make sure it feels good. And if it doesn't feel good, you don't have to be there. And honestly, if you did pay a deposit and you get to an impasse where you can't figure out how this is gonna work, sometimes that's what you pay to not get a poor experience. I urge everyone, do not pay my deposit fee if you're not 100% sold on this process. If you can't come in without an idea, fully formed on paper, then I'm not the artist for you, and that's fine. But don't pay me the money and hope I'm gonna be the artist you want me to be. Don't pay somebody the money and hope that they're gonna get to a level of skill that they haven't showed you on their social media. If an artist doesn't have social media or a physical portfolio for you to look through and judge if they're the artist for you, don't sit with them. If the artist makes you feel bad, if the artist belittles you, if the artist isn't working on communication with you, don't sit with them. The consultation process is somewhat of an interview for both of us. I need to know that you work with me. I need to know that I work with you. And if we don't need to work together, we don't need to work together. I would love to build beautiful, amazing dream tattoos that heal your soul and give you great memories forever. But if I'm not the artist for you, I can't possibly do that for you. So don't sit with me. One of the things that the original client in these videos said was, I'll eat the raw meal and I'll thank you for it. I'll get the bad haircut and tip you and thank you for it. Don't be that. I have a weird story. I, as most of you know, have a prosthetic leg on my right leg, which has a prosthetic foot, and I get my toes painted. And one day I went in to get my toes painted, and Donna was with me, but she was getting her nails done. And the woman doing my toes started using a Dremel, and bits of my fake foot started flying in the air. And I'm like, so I text Donna, I'm like, this isn't okay. And I have a hard time speaking up in a situation like that sometimes. And so when we go to the nail salon now, Donna does my speaking up for me. And I'm okay with that because I don't necessarily know how to communicate all the time if I'm frustrated or scared or angry. So she helps me do that. So if you have somebody like Donna who's not going to run the show, because I love my clients' spouses, but it's about me and the client. If your spouse is going to help you speak up, great, I'm here for it. If your spouse is going to get in the way, I am not here for it. So if you need somebody to kind of help you speak up, that's fine. Don't let them run the show for you and become a hassle for you and the artist. But if you need somebody to speak up for you, sometimes you need that. And that's okay. It's totally okay. So keep that in mind when paying for services, when signing up for services. I was trying to buy a vehicle one time, and I started getting really antsy, and I told the salesman, I'm like, look, man, it's starting to feel like y'all are holding me hostage. I feel like y'all are fucking with me. I don't really like the way this experience is, so I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And like, he got it, he got it. And he didn't try to play me no more, because like, he was cool, but everybody else that he was working with was trying to play me. I'm not for that shit. I'm about to pay you a lot of fucking money for a brand new vehicle, and you're gonna play me? No. So when it comes down to it, I know how to say no at the right time. Sometimes I hold it in because I don't know how to speak up without sounding like a jerk off. But when I feel like you're starting to hold me hostage, I don't give a fuck how I sound. Get me the fuck out of here. So make sure it feels good. If it feels gross, don't do it. If it's not aligned with who you are and what you're looking for, don't do it. If you're just scared, tell your artist that. Because we will work with you and we'll help you, guide you through the process of fear and uncertainty that can happen a lot of the times in this choosing process of choosing our artists and choosing our art. But if it feels right and if it feels good and you can afford it and you don't have to fucking mortgage your house for it, unless you were planning on mortgaging your house and using some of this for it, great. But when it comes down to it, make sure it's the right move for you. And thank you. I think it's C Monteith was the name on TikTok. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for helping guide a lot of people into not being ignorant into the tattoo world, because ignorance just means we don't know. And so this is a great teaching lesson. I think it's a great area of value that we can all have to learn from as artists. For me as a coach in the tattoo space, in the mental wellness space, I want to make sure I'm coaching people properly. And I think hats off to you, Russ Abbott, for, rectifying the situation in the way that you could. So I am here to learn and grow and progress and be the best version of myself for the humans I do business with, for the humans I have relationship with in any form or fashion. So I think this is a valuable lesson we're all learning. And for those of you that are still saying, fuck this, I'm gonna run with shady practices, shame on you. It'll catch up to you. My father always told me, nah, fuck, this doesn't relate, I guess, but revenge, you gotta dig 2 graves, but doesn't really fit. But give people enough rope and they'll hang themselves. Also an old adage my father gave me. So if you're gonna continue scamming people, if you're gonna continue having poor practices, even if your gut is telling you you're wrong, don't do it. And I'm not to say that you shouldn't get rich off of tattooing. If your business model has you getting rich off of tattooing, fucking great. We make as much as tattooers make as much or more than doctors, if you really do the math. So I'm 100% for tattooers going out on yachts and having private planes or whatever the fuck your business model brings you. Just do it with integrity, do it with dignity, and fucking make sure you treat your clients the way you'd want to be treated. Because nobody wants to buy a broken TV and then not be able to return it. So, when it comes to these tattoos, if your client doesn't have a great experience and have a tattoo that they love afterwards, you didn't do your job. Just because you tattooed doesn't mean that's all of your job. There's so much more to tattooing. Me personally, my biggest part of tattooing is the emotional healing it brings. It's rough out there in these streets. And when we go through these tattoo sessions, the talk therapy that you have with your artist is a big deal. The pain therapy is a big thing. A lot of people share things with me that they won't share with others out of no fear of judgment. And knowing that I'm just gonna do my job and love them through the process. We work out a lot of things in my tattoo chair. And that's one of my favorite parts of it. We laugh together, we cry together, we fucking tell truths together, and we live life together. So make sure it fits. Make sure it feels good. If you're a tattooer, do your best. Love your clients, love yourself. And if you're hurting, don't hurt other people. Don't project your shit on other people. As a tattooer, I've been that many times in the past, and I've worked really hard to not be that in the present. So I leave you with that. Thank you all for tuning in. I really hope this gave a little bit of insight and cleared up some ignorance for some people and answered some questions and gives a little bit more insight onto my tattoo process and what it's like working with me and knowing that you're supposed to feel good about your tattoo process. It's not something that is a bonus. You're supposed to feel good about your tattoo process. So just remember that. I'm Rad, and so are you. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful fucking day.